to go for compositions that do have a bit more early game power, wherein you don't really need to risk. You don't really want to risk waiting for those late scalings, especially if you just so happen to encounter an enemy that really knows how to get things going within the earlier phases. But nonetheless, again, we are seeing the Siniel first pick. Shocker. Not really.
I am really surprised by this pick, as I am by the Kilgroth pick. This I never would have seen coming, Arctic.
Nope, not at all. Surprise, surprise. But
Lumber
I mean,
pick coming out as well.
at
What's
least
the
it's
sense
good
so
to know
far?
that the players know what their priorities are as far as what picks they
Yeah.
should be going for.
It's nice to see at least that there's a consistent meta, because sometimes it gets really confusing when it's like, oh, apparently today they're prioritizing. Why are they prioritizing Valheim? Why would that be a thing? Like, so at least we see a very consistent meta shaping up here in the first few days of the tournament. We'll see if it adjusts over time. That's what I'm most interested to see. Like, because sometimes with tournaments you get like a little microcosm of a meta in the
Right.
tournament itself, and I'm wondering if these pickups we're seeing now are going to reflect that.
Well, so far, at least based on what games I have seen on the Valiant server, I'd definitely say that these are. I'm honestly not surprised anymore. If anything, looking at enemy side, at least this is just very. I'm almost having flashbacks of season 1 with a mix of season 2, and when I say a mix of season 2, it's. I'm talking about the skill growth particularly just because it was only during season 2 of the Valiant server that we actually saw Kilgroth pretty much rise in the ladder just because of his buff. So, nonetheless, really interesting. A little bit more balanced here towards Nova's side. Meanwhile, for the... Well, actually, they're pretty balanced for both sides now that I look at them.
Yeah, but we're seeing the Violet picked up again for Nova here, and I have to wonder if this is necessarily the best decision based on what we saw last game. We saw it
Right.
kind of get abused, and on the other side, we also have a marksman. So this is a marksman versus marksman comp. That Slim's there. This is something we haven't seen yet today, and honestly doesn't happen a whole lot because generally marksman comps are rarer.
Right. And I think what's interesting about this, though, is this was actually something that you, if I'm not mistaken, you raised earlier, wherein one thing that you would generally like to see when you are running a marksman is probably the extra protection, at least. And I think with at least what Nova Esports has drafted, having the Senial, having the Alice, that's like double support for you, so that you know that these key carries, not just the Violet, actually, even the L'Oreal to an extent, they're going to have a lot more staying power in these team fights, especially if you're going to consider the composition that enemy has, wherein there's just a lot of ways that they could get those sets, even the Slims to an extent. One skill shot, if you land that CC, then that could be a full collapse, but, we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we're going to have an interesting early game, if nothing else. And L'Oreal, actually, this is an interesting talent pickup to me because we don't see her take Purify a whole lot.
Right.
Necessarily because she has that self-peel with the constant blinking in her ultimate. So do you think this is a justified pickup for Xietiao?
Well, I guess in this case, it's almost like, okay, if you want to try to put logic into it, I'd say it's like you want to go better safe than sorry. But I'm only saying that because if you're going to look at the composition that enemy has, having the Lumber, having the Arduin, and that small speck of crowd control coming in from the Slims to an extent. So I think it's just Xietiao taking that extra step of precaution just so that he doesn't get held down in these team fights, just so that he could deal the max damage that he can on this L'Oreal. But who knows, theoretically, that's how I'm looking at it. But we'll see if it actually holds any merit once we see it in action.
Yeah, because if there's anything we have learned, both today and as casters in general, theory and practice do not often align. Especially when games are as explosive as this one. We see the early invade coming out here from enemy. Stagger going onto the Sage Golem. I'm pretty sure he saw them before he started attacking it. But if he did, that's pretty ballsy, Arctic. He's like, yeah, that's right. I see you there. I'm still going to try and take it. What of it? Do something. And they're like, okay, we will.
It's interesting because you can look at both sides mirroring each other almost, but looks like enemy's actually going to be going back to go on the defense here. At least to wait off the members of Nova, but so far so good. I mean, we haven't really seen anything game changing within those cheeky invades, so I'd say we're at a safer pace so far. But looking at the side of Nova, I mean, I'm just a big fan of these double supports. If I go back to these bigger teams in the Philippines like Clutch Guild, wherein they love to run these double supports and actually find much success on running these cons. Because especially if you know that you have a carry that's just gonna carry you guys really, really hard in the game, then of course all the more reason to keep them safer, just so that you are granted that how do I put it?
Oh,
Let's see. But oh no.
McDowell getting picked off there in the mid lane for first blood. That's unfortunate. Just as we were talking about, oh, double support's really cool. This is really good. Oh, they died. Oof. It's just an unlucky one, eh, Arctic?
Yeah, definitely unlucky. And then again, if you're gonna watch how Alice usually functions, you don't see her sticking around lane. You'd almost expect her lingering in the river, looking to whichever lane does need the support. But sometimes that can be predictable. And I think enemy was able to get a good read on that. But oh no,
Shutiao in trouble. He's gonna have to blink out. He is so low at this point, but the dive in from Chivas is going to do enough damage to knock them up and keep them at bay for a bit, but not long enough. Chivas is a little bit low, but unfortunately, his L'Oreal is a whole lot lower. The Abyssal Dragon going to be taken here almost certainly by enemy, and Nova S looks like they've given up on contesting. Meanwhile, Iga Xiaoshu almost got picked off up there in the top side. I really hope that is indeed Mandarin, because otherwise I just butchered his name.
No worries, man. I mean,
I know that's how you would read it in Mandarin, but I'm a little scared, Arctic, because I don't want everyone to be tweeting at me just like, "Hey, Nigeria, you suck. Learn to be multicultural." I'm like, I thought I was.
I think, the audience can give us the benefit of the doubt here. But so far, I'd say that was a pretty good maneuver coming in from enemy here. Because, okay, I was talking about how I'm a big fan of these double supports, but at the same time, since they are running double supports, it would almost be inexcusable for Cheeky or Shitiao or even Stagger to find themselves in an awkward position just because, okay, I'm going to have to hold off here real quick because enemy looks like they're going to try to go for something here towards the top side, maybe.
They're aggressing on it, but there's nothing to contest here. They're just fighting each other, and it looks like the engage is going on. So much damage going out. Shutiao is the first one to fall down, but will he be the last? Firewall is in a little bit of trouble, but just staying on the back line, kiting out, poking out a little bit on that Jinnar, and he is going to be just fine. 1 for none. Easy pick off there if you're enemy.
Easy pickoff indeed. And enemy, I mean, sure, it's a slow build-up right here, just a kill every other minute. But I'd say that's not bad, especially if you're going to consider what targets that they have been managing to pick off so far. First, I believe it was Stagger, if I'm not mistaken, as the first blood. And then it's just pretty much 2 kills onto Shitiao. So, especially since I've been another pickoff right there. But yeah, as I was saying, I'd say this is definitely optimal for enemy, just because if they could get these carries in a position where they fall back a bit, then that's going to be a lot of lost damage coming in from Nova's side. Even though you have the double support, sure, you're going to keep them long enough in these fights, but if they don't dish out enough damage, despite that staying power, then the general concept of the composition would pretty much be moot. But in all fairness to Nova, at least as a small consolation, they were able to get a turret.
Absolutely. This solo lane here in the Dark Slayer lane, Dark Slayer lane. I saw the numbers ticking down and I'm like, that can't be Dark Slayer. He hasn't spawned yet. That's right. It's his first spawn. I know things, I swear, Arctic. Anyways, this lifesteal versus lifesteal lane is so funny to watch 1v1s with because you never know where it's going to go until it's been like 30 seconds of straight scrapping because of how much these characters heal. But meanwhile, in the bot side at the Abyssal Dragon, it gets taken by Slims there, but will he get more? It looks like Chivas might go down here. Not quite able to get out in time. Joseph going to pick that up as well. Another kill looking to go out. Shuxiao in a whole lot of trouble getting taken down. McDole is going to be the next target. Will this be the third kill of the fight? They're chasing down. They get it. The triple kill for Joseph. And I don't know if they're done yet. Cheeky is going to get out, so I guess they are. 3 for none there, all going to Joseph plus the Abyssal Dragon. This is not the early game you want if you're Nova S.
Not at all, and so unfortunate for Shi Jiao, even though he was in the middle of that fight. If you're going to look at the mana bar on McDole, there wasn't really much that he could have given at that point, because as an Alice, ideally you want to have those abilities up and running just to keep those carries intact, but without that, without the... okay.
Cheeky in a whole lot of trouble, but wait, the double kill. Stagger and Cheeky were screwed. That was such a great Earth Splitter.
Man, this is a crazy avalanche that we're seeing once again. A landslide, if you will, coming in from enemy. And I'm really worried about Nova at this point. Because like I mentioned, doesn't matter if you have those double supports. If you can't dish out enough damage, then you're pretty much going to be a non-factor in these big team fights. But, of course, all the more happiness for enemy.
Yeah, that was... It's just been... Every team fight has been so dominant. You know, they're 9-0 in terms of kills. They're up 4,500 gold. They've got one more tower, 2 more Abyssal Dragons. They're really stomping this early game. And the thing is, you can't even rely on scaling if you're Nova. Because, sure, you have the L'Oreal, sure, you have the Violet, but they have Slims. He scales pretty hard, too, and we're seeing that come in here. Stagger gets knocked up, Stagger gets stunned out, and he gets killed.
Oh, man, no amount of lifesteal could keep him alive from 3 members of enemy. It looks like this Kilgroth.
Speaking of, Kilgroth in a little bit of trouble, but no, he's re-engaged. He's like 1v4, no problem. I'll almost kill one of you and force you to back off while his team takes the Abyssal Dragon.
That is one fed fishy. But
yeah. This is an aggressive fishy as well. Oh, getting blocked on the tower as it fell down. That does not feel good. Exhibit looking to try and get the engage. Not going to land it, though. And they're just going to back off.
I got to hand it to Nova, though. At least, even in the midst of this crazy pick-off time and time again coming in from enemy, Nova has managed to get turrets, but you have to take into account that, sure, they're getting turrets, but it doesn't necessarily help them try to get at least back on equal ground with enemy, rather, just because of the number of pickoffs enemy has been getting time and time again. And Abyss, Dark Slayer, that's going to be massive again.
That's really, really bad news for Nova. Yeah, they're only down 4.6 at this point, so the gold lead hasn't spread, but that Dark Slayer buff is so much combat potential, and when you've already been basically crushing every fight, that's scary. And if you just watch, Joseph just hit a 1,200 crit, so these fights are going to be a whole lot of trouble times for Nova. They're going to have to play very carefully, make sure they don't get engaged on. Great stun there from McDole, but they're just going to back out, keep pushing the waves.
Yep. Just gonna build their time well, but look like the Cineal actually gonna try to pressure up top. But then again, I mean, it's probably the best case scenario for Nova at this point, doing what they can. And Chivas is running a Cineal, so if ever things do get kind of dire for Nova, could go for a response. But speaking of dire, Cheeky, he might be in trouble there.
They're losing 2 towers for this play, and they might lose their Xenial as well. He has to jump out, but will he survive in the end? He got so low. He does go down. 2 kills so far in this fight for enemy, and it's not over yet. Exhibit gets the Earth Splitter, but nothing going down there. That was really close.
That has got to be frustrating for Nova, because...
Oh, no. Stagger gets stunned up. Exhibit, you're under tower, buddy. You're tanking it. No! They got the high ground at least, but don't know if the fight is going to... Oh, my God. L'Oreal, what are you doing? No!
Yautza. Just because of how ahead these guys are from enemy. Again...
Are they just going to go for the core? I don't think they can do this. Firewall's getting engaged, Sean. Slims has gone down. The only one left is this Kilgroth, and he is hauling tail out of there. He is trying to slither away as quickly as he can, but the stun, the knockup. Cheeky is going to try and get a cheeky little auto, and will he get the kill? No, Chivas is like, mine. I took that tower top. I get to take this kill.
I wonder if Nova... Ooh.
Fair enough.
Wonder if Nova will be able to get anything out of this, though. Looks like they are going to make their way towards the top side. We'll take advantage of that wave that the Sinio was able to push up towards top side earlier. But then again, even though they were able to successfully defend, sure, enemy might have overstayed their welcome amidst trying to go for the core, try to get a few more kills. But you have to take into account they did get a lot of value from that siege regardless. 2 high ground turrets towards the mid and bot lane. That's definitely still going to be a tall order for Nova as far as the defense that they need to mount. It looks like they're going to go for their first Abyssal Dragon of the game. Never too late.
Yeah, it's really good for them. I mean, honestly, they need to catch up. They've lost 2 high ground towers, which is 2 waves of super minions. They need to do something. And that Abyssal Dragon is a good first step.
You know what I do find impressive, though, is that even though we saw enemy getting so much value off of that siege, if you're going to look at the gold difference, it's actually been playing around the steady, 3,000 to 4,000. And I think that's pretty workable for Nova at this point. Like we were mentioning earlier, sure, going into these fights with double supports, if the damage isn't relevant coming in from Cheeky and Shitiao, then that's going to be a struggle. But since they are slowly starting to amp up, then that's something that they could work with.
They were trying for the cheeky bush strats there, and I appreciate that, but they got caught out. Joseph lost a whole lot of health, but oh my god, that lifesteal. That's disgusting, Arctic.
It is crazy, but okay, let's see what enemy's going to go here for, though, because it looks like they had enough of this Sinio going for that split. Oh, he actually made it out, too.
Their base, it was fine. He was like, guys, you sure you want to? All right, I guess I'll just hit the recall button.
It's going to make his way out of there. And, I mean, even without the recall, has a lot of other options. If he needs a bit more of a speedy retreat, you could just go for an ultimate onto any member, but it's just going to be a fight, though.
Lumber getting engaged on, but getting a great Earth Splitter onto 3. The damage is going out in a lot of ways. So much AoE going down, but it looks like the first victims are going to be Firewall and Joseph. He is so low, but barely managing to stay alive. He finally gets taken out, and the fight is going all the way in favor of Nova S. They are doing so well, but it looks like the Kilgroth says, it is my time. This is my hour, and you will not defeat us. Chivas is the last one standing for his team. The Kilgroth is on the chase, and he is going to almost certainly get the kill, get the ace for his team. And Chivas is trying so hard to get out, but no, the Kilgroth is the victor, and he will be pushing down to try and take out the core. He has 4 seconds until Cheeky is back up. He has 12 for McDole and 6 for Stagger. He does not have a lot of time if he wants to go for this.
Holy cow, what a Kilgroth right there. And it looks like he can potentially go for a finish.
He's going to go for it. He's doing so much damage to the core, but he has no healing. Cheeky is taking a whole lot of damage as well. He might be able to get the kill, but no, he gets stunned up. McDole, good hissy fit, good stun there, or you were about to lose the game.
Nova lives yet another day. That was almost a close call. Luckily, death timers weren't as heavy, but I don't think they'll be as forgiving once we hit those later minutes. But wow, I think enemy, if they want to win this game, they have to start closing out very soon, because as we're seeing, Nova is starting to ramp up. They are starting to reach their optimal late scaling. That if this lasts probably 3 to 5 minutes more, I think that's where they'll really start to shine with this composition, and it's going to be scary for enemy, and such a shame considering what they were even able to establish within the early to mid.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Nova looking for a pause. They're like, hold on. We need to catch our breath. Give us a second. That was really scary. I'm going to be honest. I cannot blame them at all, because that was quite the fight, quite the defend there.
Yeah.
But let's take a look holistically at the whole map. Let's see how things are going. It's 4.2k gold in favor of enemy. That has been pretty much a constant in this game. They have the only Dark Slayer. They have 7 towers to 4. They have 3 Abyssals to 1. But like you were saying, if there's a few more minutes for Nova S to scale up, they're fine, because they've been doing so much damage. Cheeky has been putting out autos that were hitting for 2,200 damage. Once you're doing that kind of damage, scaling on the enemy team really kind of doesn't matter if you can almost one-shot them.
Exactly. And well, okay, so looks like we're gonna be continuing where we left off right here as we head back onto the Antares battlefield. But okay, is enemy gonna try for something here?
Looks like
Okay,
they were considering it.
just kind of walked by each other. Okay, we'll just let you retreat. We're not gonna go for anything, but they won't go for a fight, but they'll go for a
Oh
Dark Slayer.
no. Lumber getting caught out almost, it looks like, but he is so tanky that it doesn't matter. The Darkslayer pickup going to try to go out. Chivas almost got caught out. Darkslayer is now on the side of enemy. They're going to have to look for a fight here, look for the split push, look for something.
Oh man, this is going to be tricky. Like I was saying, Nova, they're already reaching a point in this late game where their damage is starting to be relevant, but with that Dark Slayer take, that also allows enemy to match that, and this is going to be a tall order for Nova in order to defend. Can they do it?
Enemy looking for the engage, but they're not quite able to find it just yet. The hissy fit blown by McDowell. That is a big cooldown that they no longer have. The huge Earth Splitter onto 5. Joseph is going to go wild in the backline, but the core is the focus. And just like that, the explosive ending for enemy esports. What a team. That was an incredible game.
Man, oh man, enemy, even though things were, I was a bit worried for them a bit, but then again, great call going for that Dark Slayer, not to mention making sure that Nova was kind of kept at bay so that they couldn't contest it, and that was pretty much sealed the deal for enemy here, but still kudos to Nova. I mean, the fact that they were able to try to turtle to this long into the game, I was honestly expecting that it might have finished like a few minutes earlier, but still, one of the better games that we've had overall, wherein it all